Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show here on YouTube. Don't hate me for this one. I'm going to start by saying that. I was very lucky, and I was able to get the Marvel Legends San Diego Comic-Con exclusive off Hasbro Pulse the day that it dropped. I know it sold out very quickly. I just got lucky. I got on right away. I got it. So I paid the Hasbro Pulse price. I didn't scalp it. I didn't buy multiple because that's a messed up thing to do. No, I bought this strictly for my own enjoyment and to open it and to, to talk about it on camera. So let's dive into it. Let's check out this Marvel Legends 3-pack featuring Shauna the She-Devil, Sauron, and Rogue in her Savage Land look. Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show. So I'm actually going to start off by talking about the packaging today, something which I rarely do, mostly because it reflects off everything here. You can see my light behind me. You can even see me in the reflection. But anyway, I'm going to start by talking about the packaging because I honestly find this packaging to be a little boring. And I'm not talking about this just to complain about it, but I know in the past for San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, there have been some very cool items and some very unique packaging that I've always kind of felt like I've wanted to keep. This just looks like something you could see on like a Target shelf. And sometimes that packaging adds to the price. I'm not going to sit here and complain about that, therefore. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's the package. But you can see in the top corner, we got Marvel Legends, we got Gamerverse, Marvel Snap, and for the life of me, I've never played Marvel Snap. I don't know what it is. I know it's a game, but there is a warning choking hazard up here. And then at the top, we see Marvel's Sauron, we see Shauna the She-Devil, and we see Marvel's Rogue. The back of the package is interesting in that it has, I guess Snap is like a card game, so it's got what would be cards for these characters with 3s and 4s and 2s and 3s, and yeah, so that's what the package looks like. It looks kind of neat. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and bash it too much. At the end of the day, I open up all my stuff anyway, so like, what's the point of complaining about packaging? But yeah, let's get these open and start talking about all three of the figures in this set. So we are going to start by looking at Sauron. Originally a Build-A-Figure way back when. This Sauron is a little updated. There are some changes compared to the old one, namely in paint and some other stuff. We're going to talk about it. But one thing I noticed right out of the package is that his tail is not connected. And that allowed me to notice right away that this time the tail does have bendy wire in it. The old tail on the Build-A-Figure was molded plastic. It was one solid piece. That is not the case with this one. You can get some bend out of it. It mostly goes side to side, but you can do a little up and down as well until you get to the thinner part, because then you can really curve it. So as you can see, there is a hole right there at the end of the tail, and he's got a little nub hanging out of his butt. So you can just pop that in like that, and then that is on a joint, so you can get the tail to move up and down as well. I tend to kind of put it towards the ground because it does help to use this as something that he can stand with. So you can see that it's on the floor down there, and it can help him stand a little bit. It's really not going to make the biggest difference. But here is Sauron, bringing him close and looking at that head sculpt. I'm going to move the camera up just a little bit so that you can get a better look at his head. Here's the head, and the eyes on this one, if I can focus, there we go. They look really cool. They're in there, and they have that cool hypnotism effect, which, unless you're really staring at it, you're probably not going to notice. But that does affect another part of what this figure comes with, and we'll get there. But it looks really cool. Dark green on the head, yellow at the beak, which on camera, the yellow is really coming through. It honestly looks a little more subdued, but I do have a light shining on this right now. So, it does look really cool. And then opening the mouth, you get just a crazy looking pterodactyl mouth, rows of teeth on this thing, a nice tongue sticking out. And I like that, you can kind of control how much of that you want to show. You can close the mouth and then you have, nothing being shown. Little bit, you get a little bit of the tongue and the teeth, and like open it fully, and he's full on screaming pterodactyl. So you really get to decide how you want to make Sauron look on your shelf, in your photography, whatever. Looking at the body, there's some nice lighter greens moving down, coming through from the darker greens. He's got purple trunks this time, which I really, really dig. Purple and green has always been a cool combination in my mind. So Looks really good. We'll get to the back of the figure in a moment. Legs, again, has that same kind of light green coming through the darker green until we get down to his feet, where we have some nice black toenails. So, you know, there is that black in there, which it does break up the color just a little bit on the feet. Looking at his hands, you know, there are also the black nails as well. You can see them. So I like that that's there. The green is so dark that they're a little hard to see, but it still comes through. Now, looking at the wings, it's like this very lighter green again, kind of being like, you know, here's the darker green, and then it kind of fades into the lighter green. And with the wings, we do have quite the wingspan. You know, with this figure, you can raise his arm, and we get wingspans that start right here, kind of at his armpit, moving over, you know, to the elbow, moving over to the wrist, and then even expanding outward. These look great, and I like that there's little holes and stuff in there, showing that maybe he's been through battle, you know, that he's a little battle torn. You get similar things on the other side as well, in different spots. So it's not just like a mirror. It is, they are different. Turning him around, the back is a little plainer, you know, just dark green on the back, which is fine. I guess he would have a stronger hide on the back. But then, you know, even the wing effects still look really cool on the back, in my opinion. Now, I'll be the first to admit his wings are actually, one quick thing, at the tail, we do have the yellow as well. Now, I will admit, his wings are large. There's no getting around the fact that his wings are very large. This figure is going to take up some real estate. You can kind of, you know, shrink the wingspan just by clicking these wings in. It still makes for a large, you know, a pretty large wingspan, but you can, you know, lower it down. This piece is just on like a clip, so you can pop it out if you just want him to have like short wings. Depending on your display space, maybe that is something you want to do. It does leave a pretty unsightly gap, so I am definitely pro leaving that piece in. But yeah, there we go. Let's talk about his articulation, because at the head, we do have a ball joint up here, so the pterodactyl head is going to be able to look all around. And then we also have articulation here at the neck, which helps you slide up and down. Now, I believe this is a reuse of the Spider-Man movie lizard body, so if you have that, you kind of know what to expect. At the torso, we do have a ball joint in the diaphragm, so he can get a little bit of bend, a little bit of back, but he can also kind of go left and right. He can twist, you know, it looks good. I don't think there's anything else at the body. I don't think the lower part of the torso twists. No, it does not, at least not on mine. His arms, you kind of already saw, but they're going to be able to move up. And we do have for rotation at the bicep. We have single jointed elbow, and it is not pinless. So you can see it is probably a straight reuse of the old one. Hand will rotate and go left to right. So there we go. At the legs can kick forward. Loincloth gets in the way a little bit, but they're still going to kick forward. And they can actually, let me move the wing a little bit so you can see, they can move back just enough as well. They can kick out as well. The wings really do get in the way, but, you know, still nice kick for rotation at the thigh. Double jointed pinless knee, interestingly enough. And at the feet, we're getting up, down, and we have full ankle tilt. So he stands pretty impressively and pretty tall. I am going to bring the old one in just for a moment so you can see how they look next to each other. And I do think there are some pros and cons. Now, looking at this, the new one definitely seems a little taller. So I'm wondering if maybe this is on bit of a different body. Maybe it was just because I had the other one's knees bent. Like standing them together, I guess they are the same. Are they the same height? I'm going to say they're the same height. I should probably get a tape measure out to measure exact. But, you know, there are some pros and cons with the old one. The old one has that molded tail in place. I already talked about that. His eyes are just red, so there is no like hypno effect. Although looking at the eyes, you can kind of see some eye effect in there. And, you know, nice open mouth. All the stuff is still the same. I feel like the yellows on him are not as pronounced as the new one, especially on the beak. Like, if you look at the beak on the two of them, this one's beak is definitely a little more yellow. The loincloth is not the same. I was actually, See, the weird thing is the loincloth almost does look the same, but there's definitely other parts on this one. He has like a pouch and like, you know, a little bag or something, but that would mean they like just stripped. Actually, the old one's loincloth comes off. Let me see something real quick. So this loincloth comes off, and yeah, all this stuff is molded on. Does this one come off? The new one's is a solid piece. Look, sorry, I did that way off camera. The new one's is a solid piece. There's no break there. So they are different, but they definitely look similar to a degree. So if you ask me which Sauron figure is better for your collection, I really don't know if I'm in a space to say one is better than the other. You know, thinking about the exclusivity of the new one and how hard it is to get. If you have the old Build-A-Figure, you might just want to stick with it. If you were able to get the new one, maybe you don't want the old Build-A-Figure anymore. Like I said, I like the purple and green combination on the new one. I think the old one still looks really good though. So yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time deciding which of these is staying on my display. I'm not gonna have like Sauron on one shelf and a Savage Land display on another shelf. Like it's probably just all gonna be one shelf. So I am gonna have to do some thinking, but we're not quite done with our new Sauron yet. So I'm gonna take the old one back down. With our new one, there is one more accessory that I have not talked about just yet, and it would be this. So I mentioned those hypno eyes. Well, he comes with like a hypno blast. Now the bottom is just kind of translucent pink, but the top has some nice painted lines on it. So the way that this works is that you just plug this into his eyes, on his nose like this, and it's a relatively secure fit. And now he's doing his hypno effect. As you may know, Sauron does have the power of hypnosis. There we go. And this is supposed to be the effect for that. It looks cool. I think for photography, it might look really cool. You know, when you look at it dead on, it does look like there are hypnotic rays coming out of his eyes, which would be similar to how it is illustrated or something. So I do like it. I don't know if I necessarily need it, but it is a good fit. So if you're unsure of how this looks or how it fits, like I can put it on and give him a good shake, and it's not really coming off. So it is a good fit. So it looks pretty good overall. Well, now that we've talked about Sauron, we're going to clear the board, and we're going to take a look at the next character from this set. So the next character to talk about is the one that I was most hyped for, actually. When they announced that Shauna the She-Devil was going to be part of this set, that was how I knew how I had to buy it. If this set was just Rogue in the Savage Land gear and a Sauron, I probably wouldn't have bought it. This was the draw for me. This is the one I really, really wanted. Because I have Khazar and Zabu, who you will see in just a little bit. But I had the old Shauna as well, who was also a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I don't know if like almost naked woman in like torn up jungle rags is the qualifier for San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. But yeah, I was a little annoyed that this was the exclusive. She does look really cool though. My biggest issue I've had so far with her is her hair. Hasbro loves doing this windswept hair, and while I like it, I feel that it really does impede movement, and it actually got stuck in the box. I was a little nervous taking her out of the plastic, that I was going to like snap this neck off or something, but she's okay. But it looks very good. It's very expressive, and I love that face on her. Like, it is a mean face. She is here to beat up some dinosaurs and then go hang out in the cave with Khazar. But this looks awesome, and I really do like it. I do wonder if, like, I don't know how many of you collect G.I. Joe Classifieds, but they have like different hair options rather than head options. I'm wondering if Marvel Legends should start to do that, where we have swappable hair pieces. Because while this is expressive, maybe you want something that's a little more calm, you know? So anyway, head looks really cool. Down at the body, we see the her top, which looks like it's been ripped. It looks really cool. It's like this would be the inside of the cloth, while we have the outside part. Skirt, same thing, tattered and ragged, and just looks really good on her. On her hands, on her left hand, we do have a bracelet. Right arm, we have the upper arm bracelet, and then like the wrist wrap here, which I think looks really neat. It is very nicely detailed too, just to zoom in on that. It does look good. The other one is also detailed as well. Let's get that to focus a little bit. There you go. So yeah, it looks really good. Coming around to the back of her, you see how that detail on everything carries over to the back of her as well. For all of you who want to know, yeah, she's got stuff under there. Stop being weird. Down to the legs, bare legs until we get to the boots, which has, like, again, the furry boots, and you can see the ruffles in the boots. She looks really good. In terms of posability, head on a ball joint, so it's going to be able to move around, get some nice wiggle waggle, and then there is a slider there, so she can look way down, and even back to a degree. The hair is going to stop you a little bit, but you can get some movement there. At the waist, like we have become very accustomed to, it's at the midsection, or right underneath the chest. She gets some deep back, but forward, not so much. They really got to find a way to improve that. Like, I'm glad she can go back this far. She should be able to crouch forward a little more, but whatever. Arms are going to fully rotate and move up. Rotation right there at the bicep. Double jointed elbow. We have hands that rotate, and these fists go left and right. We do have some other hands to talk about. We'll be getting there momentarily. At the legs, we're going to kick forward, and a nice kick forward, I got to say. The loincloth really doesn't get in the way. Both can go up, so there you go. They are also going to do a decent little split, and not too much back. For rotation at the thigh, double jointed pinless knee. Moving on down to the boot. It looks like there should be boot cut, but there is not. No boot cut here. So that's a bit of a bummer. But at the feet, otherwise, we get up and down, and we get left and right. So yeah, looks pretty good. She stands well. She looks good. She's your basic kind of female articulated figure, but she does look really cool. Now, she has a bunch of accessories. The first one I want to show off is this knife. And there is a little pouch in her loincloth here that has a loop, so you can stick the knife right in there, and boom, she's got that. I think I put it in what would be considered backwards, so let's fix that. There we go. So that knife's going to sit against her thigh. Looks pretty neat. She also has a nice long spear, and she has a shotgun, which I want to say came from was it Frank Cho illustrated Shaun of the She-Devil series, where she was like more like a almost like a cave woman, an explorers found her, and she took up their arms, things like that. She also has two splayed open hands, which look very nice. Your typical kind of open female hands that will move left to right. But then she does have the ones I more want to talk about, gripping hands, and both these gripping hands are moving left to right as well. They're not doing the up down, which I was a little disappointed about, because I sometimes feel like the gripping hands need to be going up and down rather than left to right. So let's put in the gripping hands so that we can take a look at some of these accessories. Now, just to say it, you take off the gripping hands, the bracers come off as well. So do be careful. Don't lose any of them because they are small. So when you're pulling them off, maybe one hand on the wrist wrap, other hand on the hand, and then take it off like that, just so you don't lose anything. I know I've definitely seen reviewers for other figures where things have gone flying. Now, if you want to have her holding the shotgun, unfortunately, she doesn't really have a trigger hand. So, like, you can get her to hold it, but she's not going to really be able to, like, shoot the shotgun. And, like, her hands, you kind of see me struggling with it. They're a little small. So, like, it's more like she's holding it rather than she's about to fire it. Not the greatest design, in my opinion. So, she's probably not going to be holding on to that. She will most likely be holding on to this spear. Now, because she has two hands that can wield weapons, it'll probably be a double hand spear welding. She's going to hold it with both hands. And I do feel like that makes for a very cool look for the She-Devil. You know, she does look prepared to go hunting some dinosaurs down in the Savage Land. I really do like the look of this. I think this looks really cool. And like I said, just something that I've been really hoping to get since we got a new Kazar, just so you could see the old Shaun of the She-Devil. Here we go. This is the old one from San Diego Comic-Con. A little less clothing on that one, I have to say. This one's a little more modest in comparison. But the old one, her articulation's outdated. Although her hands probably hold some weapons better, if I'm being honest. Looking at them, they are wider, opened, a little wider. She doesn't have the boots. She's got bare feet. And her hair also windswept, kind of in the same direction. So it's like they're both standing and hitting the same breeze at the same time. But I do think the new one looks better overall. Say what you want about scantily clad women. I'm not here to debate any of that today. But I do think the new one looks like a tougher action figure, better proportioned as well. This one was pretty good for when it came out. It hasn't aged well, and the articulation has definitely suffered because of it. So just going to pull her down. But if you want to see what she looks like with Zabu and Kazar, here is Zabu. I'll put him back here so you can see him. And here's Kazar, who I did a little customizing to. My Kazar has custom wrist wraps and a necklace on him. But yeah, I think they look pretty good together. They're holding their spears. They are the same mold, these spears, just to say that. So let's get them. Let's get them to focus. Just focusing on the stuff in the background. Well, they are the same. They do have the same kind of wraps and bits on them. So you know, you can get them standing there looking like the couple who plays with spears and has a pet saber-toothed tiger. Why not? So she's pretty cool. I dig her. She was the one I was most excited for in this set. But there's one more figure to talk about, one that I know people are going gaga over. So let's bring out the Savage Land Rogue. So here she is, the new big deal, the Savage Land Rogue. She looks cool. I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I've seen a lot of people saying they didn't like the head sculpt and people saying that the head looks better in hand. To me, the head looks exactly the same in hand. So that's going to be where we start. I don't love the head, if I'm being honest. I don't know. There's something about it that I don't like. I don't really know how to describe it. Do I think it's the worst head sculpt we've ever gotten? No. I don't think it's the best. I don't know. I feel like there's so many other Rogue head sculpts that you could have used that would have been nicer. There's just something about this one that I'm not feeling it. But she does have a bone necklace here. So that is there. She does have the yellow X-Men shirt that's been torn. You can see the tear along it with a nice red X over there on the side. And it's not that that's a paint error, just to zoom in on that. It is that the fabric of the shirt is, there we go, over it. So it's not that mine's missing a paintwork. It's that this is fabric of the shirt covering it. All right, moving on down. She has a bare midriff, same loincloth piece as Shauna. And yes, also painted. So calm the hell down, you weirdos. But same loincloth piece to the point where it also has that loop for a knife that she does not have. I suppose you could give her Shauna's knife if you wanted to, or any other small Marvel Legends knife. But yeah, it's the same thing. Hey, quick edit. I said Rogue didn't come with a knife. As I was about to throw out the packaging, I did find a knife in the package for Rogue. So it does indeed, she does indeed have a knife that you can also put at her hip, much like Shauna. So you just slide it on in. Mine's getting stuck. Why is mine getting stuck? Like that. There we go. And yeah, there we go. Now she does indeed have a knife. So yeah, I take that back. She has a knife. You're not going to see it for the rest of the review because this part is probably going to go in the middle somewhere. But yeah, she does have a knife. So I take that back. Down to the legs, mostly bare except for this piece, which I don't think is molded on. It's just very, no, it's not molded on. Yeah, there is some movement to it, but it is staying in one spot. And then we have the boot cut again, torn up boots. You can see like the fabric being torn around them. I'm trying to get that to zoom in nicely. Can I? There we go. There you go. There you go. Now you can really see the boots. So yeah, torn up like, you know, boot tops. I think they look really, really cool. It does look nice. At the arms, I didn't really mention, but on the left arm, this t-shirt piece does slide down. And I think it's supposed to be that, like, it's still connected to the top. So it's supposed to, like, sit like that. But it is its own separate piece. You know, having that connected in figure form would make for a lot less movement. The wrist guards, or the glove cuffs, are a separate piece. So they are going to slide up and down. I really feel like by now we should have been able to find a way where we can get the glove cuts to also work with the hands. But whatever. Anyway, I'm going to get off my high horse. We also have a nice wrap here at the wrist, or at the arm, which, much like the t-shirt piece, will move. And the headband is blowing in the breeze there. So, looks pretty cool. In terms of articulation, her head is on a boulder slider. So, we're going to get up and down. We're going to get movement left and right. And because of the hair, the necklace is going to move a lot if you have it too close to the back. So, when I move the head, I tend to tilt it forward. and then try to move it around so it doesn't really mess up the necklace, even though sometimes it still will. At the body, again, nice back, not actually more forward than I thought. You do get some forward movement on there. Nothing else at the body. Arms are going to do a full spin around 360, go out that much. Rotation at the bicep, double jointed pinless elbow. Mine is very tight. I have gotten both joints to move, but I have to kind of fiddle with them. There we go. In order to get them to move. Hands are going to rotate 360, and then these hands left and right. These are her punching hands, which Rogue I normally associate with punching. For the Savage Land, maybe not so much, but anyway, moving on. Legs forward that much, out that much, full rotation at the thigh, double jointed pinless knee. Much like Shauna, no boot cut, even though it looks like it should be there. Feet are going to go up and down and left and right. So there we go. And actually, looking at her now, I just want to see something. No, I was going to say it's just the same top as Shauna, but they are going different ways. So it is not. The boots might be the same, though. No, they're not. I take that back. The boots are not the same. So ignore my crazy man talk on that. So overall, you know, she's a figure of Rogue in the Savage Land. She does have some accessories. She also has a spear. This type of spear we've seen with several Black Panther figures. Has these nice, cool feather details at the towards the tip of the spear with these little like I don't know, like necklace beads around them. It looks pretty cool. She can hold that. We'll get there in just a moment. She has her open hands as well, like we've seen with Shauna. And she has holding hands as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have her hold the spear with one hand. And like I said with Shauna, glove cuffs are a separate piece. So when you're taking it off, make sure they don't go flying. Otherwise, you're just going to have green hands. I do find it a little strange that when Rogue was in the Savage Land, she could have all the skin exposed and she still had her gloves on. I thought the Savage Land negated people's powers, but I could be wrong. The only thing to say, this spear is quite thick. And it really does force that hand open. So I don't know if holding this for a long time is going to warp that plastic. So that might be something to be aware of. Now that I have her in it, or holding it, I honestly don't even like the way the spear looks in her hand. So I will be probably taking this out and switching out for another hand. But that's what she looks like holding it. She looks okay. It's, you know, it doesn't stay in that hand very well. So I'm going to switch hands. We're going to put in one of the open hands, I think. There we go. Maybe we'll have Rogue kind of sassing it up a little bit with the with her hand at her hip. So anyway, yeah, so this is Rogue. Like I said, not the one I was most excited for. When I thought it was going to be just a Shauna and Rogue 2-pack, I was still kind of on board with it because I figured, okay, cool. You know, that's a 2-pack, that's doable. You throw in a Build-A-Figure size figure, that price became a little harder to swallow. I'm still happy with everything, but let's bring them all in back together so I can share some final thoughts. So my closing thoughts on this set is, first off, I've never played Marvel Snap, so I don't know what this has to do with any of it. If this is how the characters look in the game, hey, that's cool. We found a cool way to get these characters out. If this was just a way to put out another Gamerverse item, whatever. At the end of the day, Shauna is my absolute favorite character in this set. I think she is the best one. I think she's the one I wanted the most. And yeah, props to her. The Rogue, for as crazy as people are going for her, really isn't my favorite. I will probably put her with my Savage Land display that I have going, which is also my Shi'ar display. It's a long story. But yeah, like she'll be there, I guess. I don't know. I'm not feeling the attachment to this one as I know a lot of people are. It's cool that we have it in figure form. I think a lot of people thought we'd never get it. And the Sauron is cool. I do think I like him better than the old one, simply because he's got that bendable tail, and I like the purple loincloth with the green. I think purple and green is just a better combination. So let me know your thoughts on this San Diego Comic-Con set. Were you able to get one? I hope you paid a decent price if you did. I know aftermarket prices can be high. I'm not judging anybody, for getting it on an aftermarket price. I just hope that you didn't have to sell a kidney for it. So let me know what you think about this set in the comments down below. Make sure you check out the Rock Nerd Radio Show podcast. It is a weekly podcast hosted by myself and my good friend Vinny, where we talk about all types of different pop culture stuff. There's bound to be something on there that you're going to enjoy. And I guess until next time, I've been Dan. That's been the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel Legends 3-pack exclusive. And you've all been pretty awesome. I'll see you around.